Hello and welcome to this very short No Days studio session where I want to show you how to use No Days Bailbond to create quick jewelry. I've got some earring findings that I want to use to create some little evil eye, I guess, jewelry. Show you up close what this is going to look like here. Got some flat pad earrings that I found at Amate Studios. I've got a couple of different sizes here. Got another one like this with a bigger cabochon, and these are cabochons that I made on a torch at a local studio. So I'm kind of excited to get this done. I've been waiting to put these together until I could show you, invite you into my studio and show you the process. It's super quick, super easy, but I always feel like, I have to look just perfect if I'm going to be in front of the camera. But today I decided, heck, who cares? Let's just do it. We'll slap on some lipstick and make this work, right? That lipstick's for you, Caroline. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to clean my jewelry because I don't want it to have any dirt or oils on it. I've got some denatured alcohol right here. I've got a little, my microfiber cloth. So I'm going to go ahead and get that put on. I want to make sure that the back of the finding doesn't have any dirt or oil or grinder dust because these I'm still working on making nice flat backs and they needed a little bit of a grinding to give the backs a nice flat side because these, instead of going into a kiln like if you were making fused glass cabochons, which you can certainly do as well, because that's my ring, right? My ring is a couple of dichroic fused glass cabochons. When you're working on a torch, you have to make that flat bottom, and I'm still working on getting it just perfect, so I need to do a little bit of grinding on that. But normally, I would say there's no need to grind when you're working with Bailbond. A lot of adhesives, you want to give the piece that you're working with a little tooth, so you want to take it to the grinder before you use it. Well, with No Days Bailbond, it's actually better if there's no tooth. Best if it's very like flush, flat surfaces. So you notice I'm just giving all of my surfaces a nice wipe down. And then after I've used the denatured alcohol, I flip to another portion here and then kind of wipe that down too, because I don't want there to be any residue from the alcohol either. Just give it a nice polish and get it all ready to accept the Bailbond and the cabochon. So I've got my heat gun here. There are a few different methods you can use to heat set the Bailbond. Bailbond comes in clear and black, and it's a heat set adhesive. Just a little rub down, and I'll show you what I mean here a little bit close up. So this is the Bailbond. Bailbond comes in clear and black, and it comes in 2 feet lengths. You don't need to use very much. In fact, just a tiny bit. You can cut a little bit off in advance and put it down. But a lot of times what I will do when I'm using it is I will actually heat the finding with the heat gun and then use the Bailbond kind of like solder. If I was using a soldering iron, just kind of use that and spread a little bit of the adhesive down behind it. One of the reasons that I like to do it that way is because there is a little bit of a profile, I guess. This isn't super thin. So if I cut a little bit and put it underneath, which might as well do a couple ways, right? So let's show you all the ways that you can do this. So I'm just going to put this down, and I don't need to cut a very big amount. I'm going to say I'd say that's about an 1/8 or maybe 1/4 of an inch of adhesive right there for the bigger cabochon that I'm working with, right? So I've got the bigger cabochon. I'll go ahead and put my Bailbond down, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the cabochon down on top of it. I'm going to go ahead and sneak these little guys out to the side. I've also got tweezers so that as I'm heat setting this, I'm not going to burn myself. The surface that I'm working with is called a homosote board, and you can get these at hardware stores. They typically come in bigger sizes, and you can cut them down, or you can ask them to cut them down for you. A lot of times I'll solder on top of these or do a lot of my heat setting on top of these because they're heat proof and they protect the surface of my table. Now I'm going to use a heat gun to heat set these initially. I am going to turn it on to the highest setting. The No Days heat gun has a couple different settings. The lower setting doesn't get quite hot enough to heat set the adhesive. It gets to 140 degrees, which is great for doing a variety of things, drying things, warming up anything that's too cold, but the higher setting is the one that you want to use to heat set the adhesive. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this on, and it might get a little bit loud. And when I'm using this, there's some air. It gets forced out of the edge. So I don't want to heat too close, because if I get too close, things could go flying away. So I'm going to start with this one over here and just kind of show you. I hold it in place with the back of my tweezers, and then I can get much closer. And metal is a conductor and glass is an insulator. So the metal is actually going to conduct the heat, and you can kind of see maybe that the cabochon moves around a little bit as it's getting heated up. Well, I want the cabochon to get too hot to touch. And basically, I don't really encourage you to touch it, but basically if it's starting to wiggle around like that, once you can kind of press on it and get it to stop moving, that's typically going to be hot enough. If you've got one of those little temperature guns, you can certainly hit it with that to see. And then, should have grabbed another pair of tweezers, but I can go ahead and straighten this out, and I'm just going to kind of turn this to be, let's see, is it too hot to touch? It's not really too hot to touch, which means that the clear, or the metal is hot enough, but the glass isn't quite hot enough yet. It's getting there. I'm just going to give this a little bit of a twist. All right, so that's nice and even. When I look at it straight on, my eye isn't going crooked, my eye here, right? So I'm just going to heat it for a little bit longer. All of the adhesive that's underneath has been melted now because the metal conducts the heat. So now I just need to get my cabochon a little bit warmer so that everything fully grabs onto each other. So just do that for a little bit. And generally I'd say like 30 seconds to a minute is going to be ample amount of time. And then I turn it off. And notice when I turn it off, I'm taking my heat gun and I'm setting it down on its base. I'm letting the air escape, all that hot air. It needs to escape out of the heat gun and away from the elements. There's this plastic jacket on here that's going to protect your hand in case you want to hold there. The metal inside there is really warm, and the elements, the heating elements are in there. So if you set this down on its side to cool, the hot air is going to get stuck in there. It's going to rise, and it's going to get stuck in that jacket, and it's going to burn out the heating elements sooner than later. So you want to make sure to protect your tools. All right, so that just needs to be cooled down, and then that's going to be ready to wear. The other way, I'm going to show you the other way that I was talking about that I like to use the No Days adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and heat this and then use the No Days adhesive and kind of paint it onto that flat pad. So let's go ahead and do that one. And it shouldn't take too very long here. But I'm not putting this in the heat when the heat gun's there. Otherwise, it'll just start melting back on itself. So there we go. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's give you the side angle view here. Bring this a little bit closer. So you can kind of see how I'm able to spread the adhesive out along this flat pad, right? And I just need a very thin layer. And then I can go ahead and put my cabochon on here. Now, as soon as I put my cabochon on there, it's going to stick because it's cold. So that adhesive's going to set up right away. I guess not. Okay, never mind. Kind of, right? But that's not ready. I need to continue to heat that. Because if I don't heat that, that adhesive isn't going to fully grasp onto that glass. Both surfaces need to be too hot to touch, basically 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 70 degrees Celsius, and then it's going to grab right on. And notice how I'm kind of giving it a little wiggle to see when it's ready. I gave it some wiggles and it was moving, and now it looks like I'm wiggling and it's not moving anymore. I think that has grabbed on nice, so I'm just going to go ahead and call that good. You can kind of see that, right? I'll post some after shots when I get done with these. So I'll get some really nice after shots so that you can see exactly what these look like. But that's my bigger set. My bigger set is done. This one, this is cooled down. It's ready to wear already. It hardly took any time at all. So this is really a quick way to glue. It may take a little bit longer to do the actual gluing, but the glue dries instantly, so you're ready to go instantly. It's this can be a really nice way to do custom jewelry. If you were selling these at a shop or whatever, and you had a bunch of these cabochons sitting around, maybe you only make one sample piece of, or one sample set of earrings, and then you have a bowl of cabochons that people could pick through and make their own custom matching earrings, or not even matching. They could make whatever they wanted, right? So it gives you a chance to really customize these pieces. And say maybe you've gotten some done already and they don't quite like the ones that you chose and they wanted to switch them out and you didn't have any extra earring bases laying around. You could actually reheat the ones that you had already done and attach some new ones. Kind of like those snap jewelry things, right? Except instead of having snaps, you just get your heat gun out to change your outfit, right? All right, heat these again. And if anybody has any questions, throw them in those comments. I know you might not be joining me live, but I'll try and get to those answers later for you. This is one of those videos that I'll probably pop up on the website at some point so that you can view it. And oh yeah, I'm making a matching set of earrings for the necklace that I'm wearing. And the necklace I showed, I actually did like a ring of beads around the outside of this cabochon. And I have a video for this on how to do that process on YouTube too. It's very similar, except you string up some beads along the outside of it. So anyway, there is my custom necklace, and now that's cooled down so I could stick my earrings in. Let's see how this looks. You see it wear earrings often lately because I have nowhere to go, right? But what do you think of that? My new earrings. Yay! So let me know if you have any questions. Throw them in the comments over there, down there, wherever they are. And thanks for joining me. If you like this video and you have ideas for more videos you'd like to see, throw a comment on that as well. If you have some people that you think might like to see how to do this, send them the video and show them, what they could do. Yeah. Anyway, this is the Bailbond. You can find it at nodaysadhesives.com. A lot of distributors are carrying it. If you're up in Canada, I've got a couple of distributors that are carrying it up there as well. Stained Glass Stuff is one of them that's getting a shipment here in the next week. Yeah. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. See you next time.